So today is 17th November. We completed GetImage and GetYoutube. Today we'll do GetFile. So before that, I'll share the assignment which one person has submitted yesterday. Nitesh has submitted. So I'll show you what he has done. So we need, the assignment is like this. We need input box and button. And when user puts something, we should update the state variable. And when user click the button, we should show the state value in console. And we should use hook, use state, handle submit, handle change. We should not use classes and all other things. So this was the assignment. Let's see what he has done. Okay, let me open it. So in the app.js, he has called import header and a main, and he has called two components, header and main, which is also good to separate the header, and main is different. Header is something simple text, some text is there with some background color. And in the main.js, he has used the material UI, and which is also good. And this is the way to create the classes in material UI. And you can use the classes calling this function. And he has used the form value, set form value, that is the state values with initial value of the empty object. And on handle change, whenever user changes in the text box, we get name equal to value, and he has updated the state value, which is good. This is what I was expecting. And on the submit, he has checked if something is present in the value, that is something is there in the text box. So to alert that, otherwise he is alerting that there is empty field. And he, after submitting, he is resetting the form value to be empty one. So the only problem here, I say, here set form value is empty object, and then he update the object with the sample input. So the only problem is here, either here you should have same thing, like, or you should create some predefined one, sample input equal to empty one, and you should update this sample input to empty one. So this is inconsistent, that initially it's an object and then here it is string. So that is only the inconsistent, which we should make similar. Because after submission, we need the state to be to the original state, whatever you created. And rest form. Now the thing is that now this is good. Yeah, we have the form, but button is going outside the form. So either remove the form, only depend on the button click, or generally all form elements should be inside the form. And if you have button with the type of submit, then you can use on submit function of the form to call the handle submit. Okay, otherwise, you know what happened, this will create some problem in some cases, because when you submit the form by pressing the enter field in this text box, form gets submitted and page may get refreshed. So either make this type submit, and instead of calling here on click, you can call on submit here. So this will, when you click enter, click the button here, or when you click and press enter in this text field, the form will get submitted and this will be called. And so we have to call E here, and we have to say e.prevent default. So if we are putting in this form submit, then we need to use e.prevent submit to prevent default. But if you want to use in the button, so maybe you can remove this form, maybe use the div only. So that way it should not get submitted, because when you press enter in the text field, form will get submitted and the page will get refreshed. Okay, so overall the thing is good. And if we look, I'm reverting what I did. So if we see how it looks, so this is the assignment. If I put something and press click here, I'm getting the value input field. So see, when I put something and press enter, the page is getting refreshed. That I don't want page to be refreshed. So for that I need to remove the form tag, or we have to add on submit of the form tag. Either way is good. So the overall assignment is good. The overall, this material I think is really nice. We will do something about material UI soon. And in material UI, you create the custom style sheet like this and call the custom styles like this. That way, material UI uses these classes using the styles, use style, and use style is using the make style, which is coming from the core style. So this is really cool feature of material UI. I like this one, and we will do similar kind of thing soon. Okay, that's about the assignment. Only one person has submitted the assignment. Rest all are busy in their life, I think so. It's okay. Whoever will submit will get the fruit of the assignment as I review the assignment and give you the feedback. That way you will learn. But if you don't do assignment, you will not get the feedback. Okay, let's complete the GetFile, and then we'll move to the object-oriented JavaScript. Since we did GetImage, GetYoutube, today we'll do similarly but GetFile, because many times I want to share the PDF with my friends, and I want to make website also where I can share the PDF with the friends or some image link people to download. And I don't want that file to be on my server, so that GetFile is a very nice feature. You can also build one of the website called as my websites. So you can whatever you like website or whatever you want to save your website, you can put the website using the GetFile functionality. So all the website will be saved in the GetFile, and you can view it later when you want to. So that way my website, that way the GetFile is very useful. So we'll do this one first. So those who have missed the yesterday's class and don't know the assignment can do the assignment today. This is the assignment part. And tomorrow I'll give you another assignment. So this is the add form. No, not third number. I don't need this. I don't want this. I don't want this. Okay, so this is the add form where I have the GetImage, GetYoutube, and GetFile. And here I take all the three fields: images, videos, file. We have completed images and video. We will do the files, and each one is submitted as a separate field in the backend database. And table name for this is testing URL. So let's do the get file, and then we're done with this project. I'll take the get image and copy, and then I'll modify it to make this get file. So I'll take the get image, copy it. I'll go to get file and change this image to get file. And I'll change this get file. So let's see if get file works similar to the get image, and then we will modify it to. So this is the images. YouTube URL is already done. Let's do the file URL. Let me see if it works like image. So right now, okay, so the image is bad. Let's take some another image. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, so it is working as image, but we need it to be the file URL. So let's fix this component to make it work for as a file URL. So this is the current value. When you change the input box, we take the current value. This O is to show the cross button, which is initially false. This current reference is to refer the input box to empty it whenever we need. This handle change is same. We don't need to change it. Handle delete is same. We will not change it. Handle cancel is same. We will not change it. Handle submit will not change it. Everything will remain same. Only thing which will change is the functionality down. So this part is one. Input part is also good one. We need key down is there. Handle change is there. Type equal to text is there. And when we have something in the input box, we have this cross button or the right mark to submit it or cancel it. And when user press enter key, also we submit that in the submit the form. So the only change will be now coming to here, list showing the files, list of files. So here I'll be showing the files list whenever user put in something into it. So this image part will go away. We don't need this image part because we don't have image. We have the file URL. And to display the file, I will put some icon called as folder icon, that this is some kind of file. Role equal to, I'll put span with role equal to image and area label. If you remove it, I get some warning in the console, so I'm putting it. So here I have to put role also, and I have to put area label equal to some name. You can put anything. If I don't put this one, I'm getting some console warnings which I don't want. That's the reason I'm putting. And here I will display the folder icon, and the folder icon, like we have this n times. For the folder we have something like this: ampersand hash 128.193 semicolon. So if I put this, I will get some folder icon here, and after folder icon I need a tag. Since it will be the file, I want user to open that file, so I use a tag, reference equal to, and it will be the item, because whatever we get item will be your item, and target will be blank. I don't want to open it in the current page. I want to open it in the another page. And then here I'll say item. So whatever user has put, I show it here. So I want a space between this and this. To put a space, I can use curly bracket and empty space. Immediately I'll put space here also after a tag. Then I will use a span tag, and in the span tag also I'll use some, I don't need this one. Font size is fine. Let's make this 18. Cursor, I don't need this position because this is not the position I'm setting it. Okay, let's try to see how it looks, and then we may modify. Okay, now I'll put the URL. Let's say I want to use this URL. So as soon as put yes, you will see the list of files. So I get the folder icon, then I get the image, and then I get this one. So everything is going into the new line, which is not good. It should be in the one line. Why I'm getting everything in one, everything in different line? Okay, let's see. Let's compare. Okay, since I want this whole thing in one row, so putting the call for makes the column very small, and that's the reason I'm not getting everything in one line. So let's make this cell 12 and then test it again. Okay, so now I'm getting everything in one line. So I get this folder icon, I can get this URL, and I can delete it also. I'll do it again. So like this, I can share as much URL, PDF file, link, anything using this files. And when I click this, it will open a new window and with this link. So this way I can share my PDF file or link to other users or myself also. So I can build something kind of my favorite websites, and I can put all my websites here using this one. So that way I can have something in the in my website. So let me delete this. Let me add one more again. Let's add image something. Okay, this is the image I put. Now I'll put some video. Let me take the video. Good one. I'm thinking which one should I take. Okay, this one is fine. Okay, so these three things I put it, and now I'll save it by clicking the submit button. So as soon as I submit it, let's go to the backend database. So we have the images where I put images. It will be array, so I can have n number of images. I can see n number of video URL, and in video we have ID also and URL. And then we have the files. Right now I put one file, but when we can put n number of files. This way we can save the data in the backend. So this is about the GetFile. All three are very useful in our practical day-to-day life. So whenever I will build a form, I will use all these three. If I need something, video, images, I will use this functionality a lot. Any question on this one? Okay, let's go further now. So we will now start with the what we call as JavaScript, which we left yesterday. We created the object class yesterday, and this is the object which we created yesterday. And to refer the book.name, I can also call this.name. So instead of book.name, since book is an object, to call the book.name, I can also call this.name, and this will refer to this object book. So whenever I say this.name, it will be book.name only. In the backend, it will be book.name, though I call this.name. So today we'll go further about this. So we have seen how to create object. It was like object equal to curly bracket. Today we'll see another method to create the object. The method is called Constructor Function. So using the constructor function, I will create the object. So one way to create object is similar like this. Another way to create object is through constructor function. This is called a literal method, and this is the second way which I will show. This is called the construction function method, or construction function way to create the object. So how to do that? So here we have to create a function called as, for example, I'll create a function A. I can name anything. I'll name A. and I'll say inside this function I will write down this dot and I will put any name, for example name, this.name equal to John. So I created a normal function. Name of the function is A, and I put this.name equal to John. Okay, so this is the function I created. Now I have to create object from this function, and that is called the construction function object. So it will be similar to this object, but to create this object we are using this new way. Okay, so this is the new way to create a function. One way is to create object like this, simple curly bracket. Another way is to create object using the construction function. In this we create a function and then we create object using this function as follows. I will say var obj equal to new. I will assign the new keyword. This is the JavaScript keyword, and I'll call this function A. So when I So when I create a function and call it using the new keyword, this function will become object and I can use it using obj. Now to access the property name, I can say obj.name. When I say obj.name, it will display the John. Okay, so this is how we create a new object using the function, and it is called construction function method to create the object. Let's do it practically here. I'll create a function A, and here I'll say this.name equal to John. Now I'll create object by saying the new A, and when I check the object, it will be nothing but name equal to John. That is this name equal to John, and this object is the object. So this is the another way to create the object. Now what is the benefit? Benefit of using constructor functions is that they accept the parameters. They accept the parameters which can be used when creating new objects. So here I can pass parameter A, comma B, comma C like this, and this will be used to create different type of object with different values. So let's modify this function to see how the parameters are passed. So I'll create a function A again. Here instead of saying this.name equal to John, I will pass the name here. So this name and this name is different. So to remove the confusion, I will change this to N only. So I'll pass something name and the variable is called N, and I'll create this.name using the N. I can also pass L, that is the last name, and here I can say this.lastName equal to L. Let's make this F as the first name and this L as the last name. And then I'll create a function also inside this.whoAreYou equal to a function and here I can say return I am. Here I'll say I am, and I have to pass the first name, so I can pass this dot first name plus, and I'll give space, and I'll give then this dot last name. So whatever first name, last name I'll pass will be displayed here if I call this function. And now I can create two objects. For example, O1 equal to new. Since I have to create object, I will use new and call this function. And this function will not be a normal function because we are using this as an object. So don't call it or don't use it as a normal function. Use it as a object. If you use it as a normal function, then you will not be able to take use of this parameter in the normal function. But if you use as object, you will be able to take the ability or the you will be able to take the advantage of this keyword. So I can say new A, and here I'll pass John, and I'll pass the last name Doe. I can create another object O2 equal to new. I can put new A. I can put another name, maybe called as hello world. So I created two objects now using the same function, and let's see in the browser. So I create a function, and now I'll call first object. I'll create first object by passing this one, and I'll create a second object using this one. Sorry. Okay, so I created two objects. Now I'll see O1. I have the first name and last name as is, and O2 as the first name and last name like this. And if I call O1.whoAreYou, if I call this function, I am John Doe. And if I say O2 who are you, here I'm saying I am hello world. So we have created common function, but we create object with different parameter. So this is the benefit of using the constructor function when we have to pass different parameter to create different object, but the main structure of the object should be same in both the cases. And in that case, it's better to call the function as a constructor function rather than creating simple object. So if I see type of O1 is object, because we created O1 as an object. Now what will happen if you create this object without new parameter? So let's try to do this. I'll create var O3 equal to A, and I'll give you the first name of, I can say maybe Donald, and last name Trump is Donald. I don't know which is the first name. Trump is the first name, right? Trump, and last name Donald. I don't know which one is his first name. Okay, so let's go and create. So here in the third case, you will see I'm not attaching the new keyword. And if I press enter, now if I see type of O3, it will be undefined because we are not returning anything from this function. So this O3 is a normal function, and since it does not get anything returned, so O3 will become undefined. Okay, and I will not be able to take use of this one also with the O3. So if I say O3 dot first name, I'm not getting anything because O3 is not a real object because it is not created with the new keyword. Okay. So you have to make sure if you are creating object, you should start with the new keyword. Otherwise, it will be normal function, and then you will not be able to take use of all this parameter inside the function. So this one was about using the constructor. Let's go further now. Okay, let's go further now. So when I type this, it is the global object, and whenever we see we will say the global object. What is this global object? The global object is this. When you type this is the global object, and in the browser it is always the window, and it has all the properties of the JavaScript in this global object. So you see this alert. When you do alert, it is the property of the global object, and we are able to take use of it. So whenever you want to see which property you can use, you can always type the this one command, and then you can see what functions or variables are there in the global object. So for example, whenever I create a variable var a equal to xyz, this is created in the global object. Since this is created in the global object, it will be available in the this object. So if I say this, and if I go through the list, what is this a? So you will see a is created here as xyz. Okay, so you are getting this. So this is the global object, and we are creating the variable in the global object, and you can see that variables inside the this that is in the windows. Now let's go to our object again. I will create a function, another function b, and I'll pass name inside this function, or I can say instead of name I'll say my name. Okay, I'm putting some my name, or just put x. Right now I'll put x, but I'll pass name in the x. And here I will say this dot my name equal to x. So whatever I pass here will be assigned to this dot my name with x. Okay, now I created this function. Let's create object from this function. So I will say a1 equal to new b. In the first case I will pass new, and I'll say, for example, apple. And if I check a1, I will get my name equal to apple. So this my name is attached to the b object, and it has the value of apple. Now what will happen if I say a2 equal to, I'll call the b but without new parameter, and I'll pass something like mango. So when I say, since it is not returning anything and I'm not using the new one, so it is undefined here also, but a1 becomes the object and a2 does not become the object. So let's say a2, it is undefined. Now if I say a2 dot my name, It's not there because this A2 is not a normal object. It is a function, normal function. But what if I say this.myName? It is the mango. I am passing mango here, and this.myName become the mango. Since I created this A2 without a new parameter, it is calling B as a normal function. When B is called as a normal function, then this will become the global this is in the global object scope. This will not be attached to the B or any object. This will be now attached to the global object, and I can see that it is now in the global object. Now if I type this and if I go down, you will see my name has become mango because I created this as a normal function. When I create the normal function, this will become the global object only. So anything I write this.myName will be in the global object, that is this. It will not be the object of A2 or B somewhere. Whereas if I create A1 with the new keyword, then my name will be attached to the A1, not the global object. And in the second case, since I did not put the new keyword, my name will be attached. In the second case, my name will be attached to the this, and this is the global object. So I can see it in here in this global object. So the difference is when you create new, it will create an object, and I can see the variable under that object. But if you don't create with the new, it is a normal function, and in this case, all this will become the part of the global object, which we can see in the window object or in this object. So that is the difference. And if I do type of A1, it will be the object because A1 is created as an object. And if I do type of A2, it is undefined because it is not object, it is function, and it has written nothing. So A2 becomes undefined. So this is a difference between the new and non-new keyword. In the new, we creating the object, and with not new, we are not creating the object. We are just calling the function, and it is a normal function as you use in JavaScript, and it has nothing to do with this in the attaching to this object. So we are not creating really the object. So A2 is just a normal function call, and whatever we return it from this will be assigned to A2. But in this case, though we don't return anything, since we call the new, that means, and in this case, this A1 becomes an object, and this my name will be attached to this A1. So this is the next one. What we call this as, okay, so this is the difference between new and not new. Let me write down something. So I'll write on one more O3 equal to A. I'll put some name, maybe Trump, Donald. And here O3 is a normal function call, and it will not create a object, and anything inside A, anything not any this inside O3 call will be attached to the global object. Okay, so this is the short meaning of what I mean. So if I create this new one, then all this will be attached to O1. Here I use the new one, so all this will be attached to O2. Here I did not create the new one, so all this will be attached to the global object. So this is the difference. Okay, let's go to another topic now in this. Okay, so that's all for this construction function today, and we can see more about object tomorrow. Okay, let me do something now about the arrays. So we are done with the object-oriented part. Now I'm just drilling something about the array, which will be used in our next topic. So if I create one array, so this is my array. It is empty currently. Now I'll do something in this array. So if I say array.push and I put some element, and now if I check array, it has a value in it. Then again, if I do array.push, I do b. Then if I check array, you will see a and b. So what push is doing? Push is adding one element in the end of the array. Since a was there already in the array, when I put b, b is attached to the end of the array. So b element is added at the end of the array. So if I do arr.push c, so I will get c in the end. So what push is doing? Push is attaching the element at the end of the array. Let's do another thing. If I do array.unshift and I'll do d. Now again, if I check array, you will see d is added at the beginning of the array. So what unshift is doing? Unshift is adding the element at the beginning of the array. So array was ABC. Now what I did array.unshift and put the element. So what d is doing? D is adding at the beginning of the array. So that means unshift is adding the element at the beginning of the array, whereas push is adding the element at the end of the array. If I do again array.unshift e, then again if I check array, e is added to the beginning of the array. So you have to remember, push goes in the end, unshift goes in the beginning. Let's try to remove the element from this array. So to remove the element from this array, I will use pop. When I will use pop, the element and the end of the array will be removed. So if I say arr.pop, you will see c is removed. And now if I check array, c is not there, because array.pop removes the element from the end of the array. And if I do again array.pop, it removes the b, because last element is the b. So it is removing the b. Now if I check array, you will see b is gone, because b is removed from the array using the pop. Let's try to delete from the beginning. To delete from the beginning, or to remove the element from the beginning, we will use array.shift. When I do array.shift, it will give me the beginning element in the beginning of the array. And now if I check array, e is removed, because e was in the beginning, and I use the array.shift and e is removed. Let's do it again, array.shift. So d is removed. Now since now it is one element, even if I do array.shift or array.pop, it will remove this element, a element, because currently we have array with a element only. Now if I do array.pop or shift, it doesn't make difference, and I can remove this element. Now array will be empty array. So these four functions are very useful in doing many array manipulations. One is array.push, push, and I have to put something here. I have to push something. This record can be string, numeric, object, array, anything. Another function is arr.unshift. This will, I will say, this will add element at the beginning of the array, and this will add element at the end of the array. Next will be array.pop. This will remove the element from the end of the array. Next will be array.shift. This will remove element from the beginning of the array. So these four functions are very useful. You should practice it a lot because we will be using this a lot in our future classes. So I'll write down here. So these are the functions which we will be using it a lot. Okay, now since we have done this array and since we have done this constructor function, we'll do another new thing, and that is called as queue and stacks in data structure. So this is the new topic which we will start, and we will work on this one. We'll start today and we'll continue. So these are the basics of the data structure, and we'll do some problems in this also with the queue and the stacks. So let's try to first build the stack first, and then we'll go to the queue. Now what is the stack exactly? Stacks, let's put this here. So we are starting the data structure, and that is the queue and the stacks. So let's write down here, and then we will see in the browser how it looks like this. Now what are the stacks? So if you have one book on the table, you put second book on the table above the first one. So second book above the first one. And like this, you go on putting the books one by one till you have 10 books. So the 10th book will be on the top, right? So now if you have to remove the book, since first book is at the bottom, you cannot remove directly the first book. You have to remove the 10th one first, and then 9th one, then 8th one, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then first book. So we are putting the books, but when removing, we have to remove from the end. So this is called first in, last out. It means the first book which goes in the stack will come out in the last. This is called first in, last out. That is called the stacks. So this is the one example of the stack, that book pile of books where you have different book on top of another one. So you are putting the first book in, and the book which you put first will come out last, and the book which you put last will come out first. So in short, it is called first in, last out. Similar example is browser history. So you go to the website yahoo.com, then you go to google.com, then you go to facebook.com, then you go to instagram.com, and then you go to some other website, for example twitter.com. Now if you want to go back in the browser history, you will not go back directly to the yahoo.com. You have to first go to the twitter.com, then Instagram, then Facebook, then Google, then Yahoo. So the one which is going inside, that is the Yahoo, will be the last to come out. That is the reason it is also called stacks. So these are the two examples of the stacks. Now we have to build this stack using our JavaScript ability, and that what we will do it now. So we will create a function. So we have to create the object, and to create the object I showed you another way to create the object is the constructor function, and that is what I am going to do. I will create a function called as stack, and then I can call this stack using this one, var obj is equal to new stack. This way I can call the stack. Now what I will do, I will initialize this stack with one array. So I will say this dot data equal to array. Okay, now I'll be asking question before I go further, so make sure you pay attention to this one. So we have to put item in the stack. So if I put the book 1, it should go in the stack. Then book 2 will be in the stack. Book 3 will be in the stack. So like this, I have to create the stack. So if I have to create in the array format, a stack will be kind of array. And here I will put book 1, then I'll put book 2, and then I'll put book 3. Like this, I'll put book 5 till book 5. Okay, so this is my stack. I put book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, and book 5. So in the stack, I need something to insert in my stack. I need some function to insert in my stack. So let's create one function. I will call this function as insert. It's a function and it will take some value. Okay, so for example, in the first case, it will take book 1. In the second case, it will take book 2. Third time, it will take 3, 4, and 5. So once I put the value, I have to update this array, and this array is called the data array. So you tell me which of the function I will use to add the book inside this data array. So I have to use book 1, then book 2, then book 3, then book 4. Whether I will use push or unshift. So I have to use the push because I have to use book 1 and then I have to put book 2. That is in the end of the array we have to add the element. Then I have to use the book 3. Then I have to use book 4 and then I have to use book 5. So here I will say this.data.push and I'll put the value, whatever value you have. And that way I can create this pile of books here. So let's see this in the action in the browser. So 2 people have answered push and that is right answer. So I created the stack and then I'll create var object equal to new stack. And as the object, it is the data. Initially the data is empty, and we have the insert function. So I will now do object dot insert, and I'll pass book 1, and then I'll pass book 2, I'll pass book 3, and I'll pass book 4, and I'll pass book 5. Now if I see object.data, it is book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5. So I have put book 1 on the table, then over that I put book 2, then book 3, then book 4, then book 5. Now book 5 is at the top of the book pile. So it is at the top. Okay, now, so we have inserted in the stack like this one. Now we also need the way to remove it from this pile. That is, I have to take the book out. So I will create another function, this.remove, and I'll create a function, and this remove will have to remove the book using the method stack. So I have to remove book 5 first or book 1 first. I have to use the stack method. So answer me whether I have to use remove book 5 first or book 1. So answer is, everyone is saying book 5. It's correct. So you have to remove the book 5 first. So to remove the book 5, which function I will use, pop or shift? Pop. So one person, Rajani, I cannot spell correctly, pronounce correctly. So Rajani or Rajani is saying pop, correct. Nitesh is saying pop, correct. So it's a pop because we have to remove the book from the end of the array. So what I will do, so I have to remove from the end of the array. So I'll say return this.data.pop. I have to return also so that I can take use of what element was returned. So this is, I am saying this.data.pop. Now we'll check this in the browser. So I have this function, then I'll use new stack, then I will add all once again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if I say object.data, I am getting all book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have to use the stack, so I will say object.remove. So once I say remove, it is removing the 5. And now if I check data again, it is only 4 books. Now 4th is at the top one. I have to remove that also. So I'll do again remove. Again I'll check. 4 is removed. Now I have 3 books. Now I have to remove 3 also. So I'll do remove. And then again I'll check. Then again I'll do remove. Then again I'll check. Then again I remove. Then again I'll check. It's empty. So we are adding the data using the push, and we are removing the data using the pop. So many times I want to see what is the size of this data in the current way. Say, let's say I added 5 books. I want to see how much is the number of books are there. So we have to create another function also called as this.size equal to function, and here I will return this.data.length. So whatever length will be there. So if I have 5 books, I will get 5 number. So I also want to create this function. Next function I have to create is this.peek. Peek will tell me which is the current book which I want to remove it. So if I have 5 books, which book are at the top? That is the book 5. And this is the one which will be the removed if I call the remove function. So I want to see which one is going to be removed if I want to remove it now. So with the peek, I don't want to remove this, but I just want to see which book will be the current one which I will be removing it. So to know that, I will return this dot data. So to peek it, I have to go to the last one. So what is the index for the last one? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So index of the last one is the 4. 4 means whatever the length is there. So I will say this dot data dot length. Length will be 5 minus 1. So whatever the length will be there, minus 1 will be the last index, and data of last index will be the one which I will be trying to remove it. So pk is something which we are calling to see which is the book which I will be removing, and this is the book 5. So let's try to do this again, and then I can also put it here, object dot insert. Let me add it here so I can use it. Let me copy paste. Okay, so let's copy this thing and then we'll see what size is there. So I created this function with peek and size also, and I call the new object and I inserted all this. Now if I do object.data, so we have book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, and book 5. Now if I want to see which book I have to remove, the last one, the current book I have to remove, I will use object.peek, and it's saying book 5. If I remove it, object.remove, then now if I see object.peek, it will show me book 4 because book 5 is removed. Now the book 4 is at the top, and that is what I'm going to remove it. Peek will not remove book 4, but it will only show which book I will be removing now. If I do object.data, it is book 4. Okay. Now I want to see the size also. Since now the size, there are only 4 books, so size will be 4. I will say object.size, and it is 4. So this is all about the stack, to create the stack object in JavaScript, and we took use of how to add it, how to remove it, how to peek it, and what is the size of this stack. And this is all about the stacks data structure. So try to revise this data structure. I will be committing in the Git. You can check it today after a couple of hours. And that's all about today's class. So tomorrow we'll do more on the React object oriented and this data structure also.